you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and today I wanted to discuss with everyone just germs. I'm obsessed with germs, I guess you could say. I get freaked out by germs. I try to be as clean as possible, as you guys already know, and I stumbled upon this article, and I started doing some research because we like to keep our home clean. So, we have a house cleaner. She comes every other week and she helps us. But despite that, and despite how clean you may think that you are, there are just always new things that we can learn on how to be just cleaner and how to be more safe and keep our environment, our world, our life, our homes especially, as healthy as possible. And we always talk about, like, when you go out to eat, ways to stay healthy and to stay clean, things to avoid and to look out for. And then also, at the workplace, we've discussed that. But then we forget that even sometimes at home, even though things might look clean, that there could be a lot of germs there too, and that you can't really see germs. So, and we forget that there can be buildup. We forget that there can be spaces in our home that can breed bacteria, that can just be the perfect environment for bacteria. It's just gross. So these are some tips and tricks and some things to keep in mind when it comes to keeping our home as safe and clean as possible. Now, because we always talk about vacuuming, we talk about wiping down the counters after you eat, not leaving crumbs on the kitchen table, which can not only just lead to just, germs and things like that, but then also you have to deal with pests. If you leave food out a lot, there can be the potential for ants, for flies, depending on where you live. It can also open the door for rodents, rats, critters. I don't know where you live, but raccoons, I don't know. And even if you have pets, leaving a lot of food out, there's a lot of food that we eat and enjoy that our pets cannot eat and enjoy. So there's just a lot of things that come with it when it comes to trying to keep our home clean. There are some things that we think about all the time, but then other things that if you don't know, you don't know, and then you may miss it. So, so here are some rule of thumbs for keeping your home clean. So the first one is your bed sheets. Now, if you're like me, I usually take a shower before I go to sleep. So I'm usually not too dirty before I go to sleep because it's just hard for me to fall asleep. If I've had a long day and I don't shower, it's just really difficult for me to fall asleep. And so bed sheets should really be washed at least once a week. So weekly, not just every once in a while, not when we think about it, but at least changed weekly. They host a lot of germs that build up every week. If you think about it, we sweat. A lot of us sweat when we sleep, whether you do or you don't, whether you realize it or not. We sweat while we sleep. Just debris. Like if you don't shower every single time before you get into bed, your feet are dirty. Your body is just dirty just from the day, the pollution, the air that has been accumulating upon your hair and on your body throughout the entire day is now being brought into your sheets. Then, just dust in general. Like if you are like me or like, in our family, we like to have like the windows open and let fresh air in. But then also that's bringing in a lot of dust and debris and other things that we just can't even see. So, and you're laying in that every night. So bed sheets at least once a week. And it suggesting by Carol Nixon to use hot water when washing your sheets, between 130 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit in a hot dryer cycle to kill all the germs, and not to forget your pillows too. And like you drool when you sleep, whether you like to admit it or not, I drool when I sleep. And so just that, saliva, just all of that, just your body, just in general, just you as a clean, functioning, normal human being, you just want to change your sheets regardless of how clean that you think you may or may not be. And using hot water during the wash cycle as well as a hot dryer is really good to help kill all that bacteria and germs. And then moving on to in kind of like the same vein, but bed pillows, like the pillows themselves, not just the sheets that cover it, but the pillows themselves. And if you think about it, we drool, we sneeze, we cough. If you got like little guys, little people in your life, such as kids, nephew, nieces, whatever, sometimes little people or even adult big people will wipe our nose on them. You can smear makeup on them. Your hair products can collect, even if you have sheets, like if you go to sleep with your hair wet and it soaks past the sheets, it's getting into the pillow itself. We cry on them, babies and everybody, like we cuddle with them sometimes. And so it's really good to consider actually washing the pillow itself, because it does collect and just, gathers within the pillow as well. And so at least every 3 to 6 months. So, with the season changes every 3 to 6 months. And it doesn't have to be too difficult. You can wash them in your washing machine, depending on what type of pillow that you have, on a gentle cycle. You can also add in gentle detergent or baby shampoo to the load to kind of help with that. And also, when you are drying them, if you add in some tennis balls, that can help fluff them back up to your new pillows. So then it's kind of like getting a new pillow, which is really, really nice and fluffy, which is, everybody likes a fluffy pillow. I personally like fluffy pillows. I don't really like firm pillows. I'm more of like a fluff and like bend in half with my arm underneath. And lay on that. I lay on my stomach versus like the firm pillows or those pillows with the groove, which are technically, I guess, supposed to be better for you because it helps with the alignment of your spine. But it's really hard for me to get comfortable on those. It's because I'm not a back sleeper. I'm a side stomach sleeper, which, yes, I know is not that good for me either. So I guess I'm going to have to just start making changes with that as well. But with that, I'm going to cut it to my first break. And then when we come back, I want to discuss some other things around the home that we should think about cleaning that sometimes slip up and pass, slip under the radar. So keep it locked here. You are listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and I will be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
welcome back, everyone, to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and today we are discussing just household germs and when we should clean certain areas of our home that can sometimes slip under the radar. And then later on in the episode, I want to discuss a really easy cleaning solution that you can use practically throughout your entire home for everything. So that's going to be later on in the episode. But to continue, so your toothbrush. Now, a lot of us, unless you're really, really on top of things, sometimes I admittedly won't change my toothbrush until it gets really like frayed. And then I'm like, okay, I got to change my toothbrush. Or when I go to the dentist and I get a new toothbrush, then I toss my old one. But I don't really think about or have a schedule when I should change my toothbrush, which is not a good thing because a single toothbrush can be loaded with as many as 10 million different types of germs and bacteria. Nasty. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all of these types of germs and bacteria can make you sick because, not all of us are running around sick just because of our toothbrushes. Because there are also anti-germ components built into toothpaste that can kind of combat that. So, but then at the same time, if your toothbrush never dries out or like airs out and dries at that, if you're brushing your teeth in the morning, as you should be, we discussed this before, but if you brush your teeth in the morning, and then later on that evening or afternoon when you come home back from whatever and you brush your teeth again and your bristles on your toothbrush are still moist, still wet, even if it's just a little bit, you should be alerted by that. That should cause you some concern. So either where you're storing your toothbrush is too humid, it's too moist, and it's not getting enough airflow. Or it could be, because there's not enough airflow to dry out your toothbrush. Maybe you have it too concealed and too covered. These are all things that you got to consider because you don't want your toothbrush to be moist the next time you use it. Because again, though that moisture and that heat is what a lot of these germs and bacteria feed off of and need to grow and to multiply as well. So you really want to make sure that your toothbrush is able to dry. And then also you should purchase, new toothbrushes regularly, and replace them about every 2 weeks, honestly. If you really want to be careful about those germs and things like that. But then some of us, we don't do that. Some of us, we just choose not to. We can't afford to, whatever our reasoning or whatever our reasoning may be. So if you do decide to keep it longer and you don't purchase them as regularly, or at least replace them once a month, experts have said that a 10-minute soak in a quality mouthwash can help kill those unwanted germs. So that can kind of help extend the life of your toothbrush as far as germs are concerned. If you're not someone who's going to be replacing them every 2 weeks or every month, that's something that you can do to just kind of combat that as well. And then I wanted to get into another component that is in the bathroom, but as well as can be found in the kitchen and other places throughout our home, are soap dispensers. Now, it's really interesting because if you think about it, we're always touching soap dispensers with our dirty hands, whether that's like if you have like dial soap and you have like the little pump and you just pump up, down twice, whatever. Or in like my brother's bathroom, they have one of those like industrial looking soap dispensers where you push the lever underneath and it squirts down into your hand, kind of like also how sometimes you see them like in bathrooms and restaurants and things like that. Whatever, unless you have because now my brothers also have the automatic one where you just swipe your hand underneath and it has like the motion sensor and it squirts out for itself. So that kind of helps because if you think about it, every time we use a soap dispenser, it's because our hands are really dirty. And whether it's dirty because we just used the restroom, whether it's dirty because we just cut something or cooked something in the kitchen, we just went digging outside in the backyard, we pet our dog, we sneezed into our hands, whatever it may be, every time we use a soap dispenser, it's because our hands are dirty, our arms are dirty, something is dirty. And so if you think about it, there's a lot of germs on the soap dispenser. And it can be a lot of germs, all types of germs, like I said, depending on what it was that we last touched. So we can't forget about the dispenser itself. And even if you have one of those automatic dispensers, such as my brothers do now, you still want to wipe it down. You can use an alcohol wipe, such as the Lysol wipes, Clorox wipes, rubbing alcohol, good old rubbing alcohol can clean it down too as well, or just wash the dispenser itself with hot soap and water to kind of break down and kill that bacteria. Because and like I said, even if you have one of those automatic ones, it's good to do this too, because people, if you're not used to it, they may try to tap it, so then they're trying to figure it out if you have guests come over. Just in general, like I said, a lot of dust can collect. If it's in the bathroom, there's just always moisture, heat, and, body sweat, body fluid, body everything within a restroom as well. And then in the kitchen, there's always germs. There's people coughing, sneezing, talking, spit flying. And that's just how life is. Let's just be real. It's just how life is. So just taking the time to wipe it down at least once a week to, just wipe the germs off the dispenser itself. And then moving more into the kitchen is your can opener. So now can openers, whether it's electric or manual, people don't really clean them. I don't know why. I try to clean ours every time I use it, or at least rinse it off. But there's times where you're opening up a can, the food can spill on it can drip on it, depending on what you're opening a can of. That in itself can be something that it has to be cooked, so you don't want that just lingering on the can opener. You can soak it in a bowl of vinegar and wiping down the handle or blade with a mild cleaner, or with vinegar itself, a nice vinegar solution, which we are going to get into later on in the episode that I wanted to discuss. But it's just something that we don't really think about. I don't know personally anybody who really washes it down like you wash your regular dishes, but you should, at least once a week, so it doesn't collect, it doesn't gather. And then just, if you are opening a can of, chili, and it gets on there, you should just wash it off right away. You don't want it to collect on there. But then moving on, so stove knobs. For some of us, we cook a lot more than others, which is totally fine. Whatever your style is cool. But, oven doorknobs and stove doorknobs and kitchen cabinet knobs should be cleaned regularly, about once a week, because we're always in the kitchen. And there are times when we flip on, let's admit it, there's times when you come in from work and you flip on the stove with a pot of tea on it or a pot of water, and you haven't washed your hands before flipping it on. Or while you're cooking, you may just quickly reach over and turn the knob on the oven, or click the buttons on the oven, because my oven, you type in the numbers, kind of like how you do on a microwave. And so that area needs to be wiped down all the time. And so there are times when we're reaching and opening the oven, we haven't washed our hands. And so it can be a lot of buildup and things like that can collect on there. So you can use the Clorox bleach wipes down. You can use a good old, like in my house, what we do is we just wash the countertops, which include the stove and the knobs and everything, with after we get done washing the dishes, with the soapy sponge, the hot water and soapy sponge, and we scrub everything down and everything, and then we wipe everything up after that. So that's an option as well, to kind of just keep the surfaces and the handles, doorknobs, and things like that clean in your kitchen. And then last but not least, as far as this part is concerned of the episode, ladies, our purses. We should clean those out every week, at least once a week. Or even, like our reusable bags. Maybe you have, like myself, I have a work bag. Cleaning it out because it harbors a lot of germs in there, and we toss in a lot of things, and it's actually considered one of our dirtiest places in the home, our bag, because we take them everywhere. We I try very hard not to set my work bag or my purse on the floor, but sometimes it happens. Some of us, when you go into the bathroom, you're placing it on the counter, you place it on the floor, you come home, and then you throw it on your bed. Then, you know what I mean? Like, it collects throughout the entire day. Maybe you might ask somebody, oh, can you hold my purse real quickly? Can you hold my briefcase real quickly? We don't know when was the last time that they washed their hands. And then, it ends up everywhere. And so there's a lot of cross-contamination and things like that. So really wiping down your purse with a sanitizing wipe. Those Clorox wipes come in real handy, wet ones. Just to wipe down the outside, even the bottom, especially the handles, your cell phone, things that might be inside, just quickly wiping it down. And even just tossing out old receipts that we don't need. I was just talking to this girl at the cash register the other day, and I was telling her how I have a small wristlet, one of those small like mini purses, but I feel like it's a never ending pit. There's so much that fits into this little tiny purse, and I really need to start cleaning it out, and that'll just help declutter your life as well. And so with that, we are going to jump into our last break of the episode. But when we come back, I want to discuss with you the wonders of a very natural cleaning solution that you can use to clean your house for less than $5. So keep it locked here. You are listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I will be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and this episode has been about keeping our home clean and things that we don't necessarily think about. And so one really natural solution that's cheap, again, it's natural but still tough on things such as bacteria, mildew, and even dirt, is using vinegar to clean basically anything and everything in our home. So you can definitely use it. A lot of times you mix it with water, 50-50 vinegar water mix, and you can use it to in your refrigerator. So in the kitchen, you can use it in your refrigerator to clean everything with white vinegar. So you can wipe up spills in there. You can, because sometimes there's just times when you pull something out and it's been leaking in the refrigerator, or you pull it out too abruptly, or you try to shove something in there and it just spills over, but you don't want to use Clorox wipes or Clorox inside your refrigerator. So you can use a vinegar water mixture. Cutting boards, because you can use the cutting boards and clean it with white vinegar. You can just spray straight vinegar onto the cutting board, because there's a lot of things that we cut on cutting boards that really need to be cleaned off, especially if you cook with raw foods and raw meats. So that's definitely something to consider. And then also pouring vinegar down the drain, or also on a scrub brush and scrubbing inside the disposal, and sprinkling, baking soda and scrubbing that as well, can help remove buildup within your drain, as well as remove odors as well. That helps clean that. And then you can also clean your countertops off with it. It's simple. You can just spray it onto your countertops and wipe it away with a warm wet rag. But you got to be careful, because if you have granite or marble surfaces, you don't really want to do that. Just good old soap and water, I think, is the best in that particular case. And then moving on to the bathroom. So you can clean a toilet with vinegar. You could pour a cup of vinegar into the toilet, let it sit overnight, or even empty, like if it's really a serious situation that you need to clean in there, you can empty the toilet water first and have it filled up with vinegar, and then in the morning sprinkle baking soda and scrub it and then flush, and that will help break down a lot of that buildup, that just gunk that can sometimes like I said, build up and get stuck on the sides or what have you. And then general just bathroom cleaning, you can use straight vinegar, you can dilute it with some water, and you can spray it on the countertop, spray it on the walls even, especially around the toilet, on the tile surfaces as well. And you just, it can help with like urine staining and odors. Let's just be real, especially if you have little boys or even big boys in your home. I don't know what it is about it, but just some of them just, I don't know. I really don't know what it is about it, but it just gets around the bottom. You guys know, like the base of the toilet as well. So that can help, again, eliminating some of that odor and staining. And then also in the shower, you can bring the vinegar to a boil and then use it to wipe down the shower door and the walls inside there, keep them damp, and wiping them down every 5 to 8 minutes for 30 minutes. And then you can also use a non-scratch sponge, dip it in the vinegar, sprinkle baking soda wherever you need it, and scrub with that as well. And that can help get rid of germs, mold, water spots, and even soap scum. So it's something that can help really break down a lot of that buildup that we have to deal with in the bathroom as well. You can also, because sometimes our shower head has some buildup depending on how long you've had your shower head, the quality of your water as well, and just life in general. But you could fill up like a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag, whatever, with white vinegar and secure it to the shower head. So it's kind of like you're dunking the shower head in it, and you can tighten it up there with like, a twist tie. You can use rubber bands to band it up there, whatever it is that you use to keep it up there. So it's literally soaking in the vinegar, but you want to make sure that it covers the entire bottom part of the shower head, so it's submerged. And then just leave the bag on it overnight, and then in the morning take it off, and then you can before you shower, I personally will let the water run through it for a little bit just to remove some of that extra vinegar, because you don't really want to shower in it. I'm not really into that. But yeah, so then you can use it also to, if you do like a mixture with the tile, like if you want to clean your tile surfaces, do a mixture of water and warm water and vinegar as well. And you can use that to scrub the countertops, and then also mop your floors and just really just allow the bathroom to air dry. You can also, in the laundry, use it as a fabric softener. It helps soften clothes and removes the static from a lot of the friction as well. Just add a cup to the final wash or rinse water. Interesting. I haven't tried that one, so let me know how that goes if you do. And then also, if you use a 50-50 vinegar water solution, it can be used on glass counter tables, so like the glass countertops, as well as, like stereo cabinet doors as well. So to kind of help with the glass, so you can use that also on windows. You can use it as a wood floor wash, half a cup of vinegar to a gallon of water to kind of help clean wood and laminated floors as well. And then you can also use it as an all-purpose cleaner and disinfectant. You can use it as a disinfectant with the 50-50 water or vinegar solution to wipe down your telephones, doorknobs, faucet handles, especially just really anything around your home that you just want to wipe down and make sure that it stays clean. You can also add it if you mix it with, so if you do a solution of 1 cup vinegar, 2 teaspoons, borax, 4 cups of hot water, and then adding in a few drops of liquid dish soap. You can also add in some like tea tree oil or your favorite essential oil also to kind of have for like that scent. And you can make your own all-purpose cleaner that you can use throughout your house as well, which is really nice because it's just, especially for those of you who are really trying to stay away from chemicals and chemical solutions throughout the home. Maybe you have allergies, maybe your children have allergies or are very sensitive to certain scents, chemicals, their skin, whatever. This is something that we can use throughout the entire home from top to bottom that can really help eliminate odors. It can help eliminate staining, buildup, literally in every room of our home, even down to our laundry. So it's very, very practical. It's very cheap. You can buy those big, huge bottles of white vinegar. And also you can cook with it. So it has multiple uses for that. So that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and you have been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I will see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.